last hearing before Sean Combs' trial starts. When he walked into federal court today, he appeared to be looking for his family. They've pretty much been at all of the hearings that I've been to, but there was no presence of his sons or his mother or his sister who had previously been at those hearings. So here's what came out of today's hearing. Number one, the government acknowledged that they offered Combs a plea deal. Combs acknowledged he has no interest in taking that. They're going to move forward with the trial. They also talked about the jury selection process, which one legal expert I spoke to said is probably the most important thing that you want to pay close attention to before the actual trial starts. And thirdly, we learned that Combs will be adding 2 new attorneys to his defense team. And just to recap, Combs, who is 55 years old, could spend the rest of his life behind bars if convicted on sex trafficking and racketeering. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
Major developments tonight involving the case against Sean Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, Sean Combs makes it official. He's rejecting the government's offer to plead guilty and spare himself the possibility of a prolonged term in prison. When asked if he turned down the offer, Combs answered, "Yes, I do, Your Honor," as he stood in a baggy beige jail uniform. Terms were not disclosed, but prosecutors did say a plea could result in a shorter sentence for Combs than if he's convicted. The decision guarantees Combs will face trial beginning just 4 days from now that will test whether one of music's most prolific figures used his power, wealth, and fame to sexually exploit both women and men for decades. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution charges that accused him of coercing alleged victims into prolonged, drug-fueled sexual activity that he called freak-offs and threatening them into silence.
For decades, they were untouchable. 2 of the most powerful men in hip-hop. Billion-dollar empires, political connections, celebrity alliances, and a level of influence that reached far beyond music. But now, the walls are closing in. Sean Diddy Combs is sitting behind bars, awaiting one of the biggest celebrity trials in modern history. Federal prosecutors are accusing him of racketeering, sex trafficking, and operating a criminal enterprise hidden behind fame and power. And according to growing speculation online, there's one name investigators keep circling back to: Jay-Z. The same Jay-Z who spent years standing beside Diddy at award shows, private parties, and elite industry gatherings. But now, insiders are asking a dangerous question. If Diddy goes down, will Jay-Z go down with him? And even more explosive, could Diddy be preparing to expose everyone around him to save himself? Tonight, we're breaking down the federal case, the lawsuits, the leaked phone calls, and the growing fear inside the music industry that one of hip-hop's most protected dynasties may finally be cracking. Because this story isn't just about Diddy anymore. It's about the entire empire.
Rap star is busted.
Jay-Z turned himself in tonight, and the cops started working on his rap sheet, accusing him of a stabbing at a trendy party.
Kimberly Richardson is at Midtown South right now. Kimberly.
Well, Rosanna, just a few hours ago, police here at Midtown South arrested Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z. The rap star voluntarily turned himself in here at the precinct earlier this evening. Now, Carter is being held here in connection with that stabbing fight that erupted at the Kit Kat Club last night. But just a few moments ago, Carter's attorney had this to say.
He's not involved in this, period.
He was at the club?
That's my only comment. He wasn't involved in this.
So it was someone else that did the stabbing and the hitting?
I didn't say that. I said he was not involved in it.
Now, Slovis goes on to say that at no time was Jay-Z hiding from the police, that they were in touch with cops all day and that they're trying to resolve this as gentlemen. But as Mike Sheehan shows us, others say they've seen the dark.
Just days before trial preparations intensified, prosecutors reportedly offered Diddy a plea deal. The details were never made public, but legal analysts immediately noticed something unusual. Federal prosecutors were allegedly attempting to pressure Diddy into cooperating against other people connected to the case, and online speculation exploded. Because every time insiders discussed other powerful figures, one name kept resurfacing: Jay-Z.
New twist in a high-profile lawsuit accuses rapper Jay-Z of raping a 13-year-old girl in 2000 alongside Sean Diddy Combs. The lawsuit, originally filed in October, was refiled today to include Jay-Z as a defendant. The anonymous accuser claims the assault occurred at an MTV Video Music Awards after-party. Jay-Z has denied the allegations in a statement on Roc Nation's Instagram, calling the accusations heinous and urging a criminal complaint be filed instead of a civil one. He also criticized the attorney behind the lawsuit, Tony Busby, accusing him of exploiting the case for personal gain.
Diddy's refusal shocked many legal experts because federal racketeering cases are notoriously difficult to beat, especially when prosecutors already have witnesses, digital evidence, financial records, and years of investigations behind the scenes. But according to multiple commentators online, Diddy may fear something even worse than prison, becoming labeled a snitch. And in hip-hop culture, that label never disappears.
Combs is facing new accusations of human trafficking as he awaits his federal trial. In a civil case filed in Florida April 1st, Joseph Manzaro alleges, according to court documents obtained by E! News, that he was drugged, transported against his will, and sexually maimed as a victim of a coercive and organized criminal enterprise facilitated by Combs and others back in 2015, and names celebs such as Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and LeBron James as witnesses in the lawsuit. In his filing, Manzaro says the alleged events took place in April 2015. He states that he lost consciousness after feeling a, quote, greasy substance resembling Vaseline as he opened the front door to his home, after which he says he was transported to another residence, where an associate of Combs allegedly told him that the music mogul wanted him brought to a freak-off event. Manzaro alleges in the suit he was secretly transferred to the music producer's home through a concealed tunnel allegedly connected to Gloria Estefan and Emilio Estefan's Miami property. He alleges that upon regaining partial consciousness, he found himself inside a large party area upon information and belief that it was a birthday party for Combs' then 17-year-old son Christian Combs. There he was allegedly forced to appear in a penis mask. The lawsuit states, Jay-Z and Beyoncé Knowles Carter were seated in the room, and upon seeing Manzaro, Beyoncé Knowles Carter asked, "What's this? What's this all about? Why is this half-naked white man with a penis mask standing here in front of me?" Manzaro alleges in the lawsuit that he was then forcibly paraded through multiple rooms filled with people who were jeering and taunting him.
High-profile individuals, including Jacob Arabo, Jay-Z, Gloria Estefan, LeBron James, and Beyoncé Knowles Carter, are identified as witnesses due to their presence or knowledge of the events surrounding the freak-off orchestrated by defendant Diddy. Wow. And freak-off, of course, is something that we've heard many times before, both in Combs' criminal case and other civil cases, to describe these prolonged sexual episodes, usually with sex workers. But Manzaro is suing Sean Combs. He is suing a man named Eric Mejias. He is suing Brendan Paul, who's been described in another lawsuit as Sean Combs' drug mule, Emilio Estefan, who is married to pop superstar Gloria Estefan, and Adria English, who filed her own lawsuit against Sean Combs, claiming she too was a victim of sex trafficking. By the way, it's interesting he's not suing these other celebrities that I mentioned, like Jay-Z and Beyoncé and Gloria Estefan, possibly because he doesn't believe their alleged liability amounted to a civil claim, but seems to want to call them as witnesses at a trial, although I have to imagine they will do everything in their power to quash any subpoena should this case progress, and we'll talk a little bit more about.
Long before the lawsuits, before the raids, before the federal indictments, Diddy and Jay-Z built an alliance that shaped modern hip-hop. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, they represented power. Diddy dominated Bad Boy Records. Jay-Z built Rockefeller into a cultural machine. Together, they moved through the same circles: industry executives, celebrity elites, fashion moguls, athletes, politicians. And as their influence grew, so did the rumors surrounding the industry's darker side. For years, both men faced accusations of intimidation, manipulation, and maintaining silence around controversial behavior in entertainment circles. Most of those claims were never proven, but the whispers never stopped. And now, federal investigators are reportedly examining relationships, communications, and connections surrounding Diddy's alleged network, which is why Jay-Z's silence has become impossible to ignore.
Biggie died, Tupac died, and then there was the fight between who was the top rapper now, Nas and Jay-Z, and then the next thing you know, Nas has a nervous breakdown and he's taken out of the game, and it's all Jay-Z.
It's all Jay-Z.
It's all Jay-Z. And he was working with R. Kelly, and they were making so many records together. You know, they made all of those records together. They both Aaliyah. They shared so much in common. You know? And then there was a falling out. And that's like it never happened. Whoever talks about best of the both worlds? Best of both worlds. Nobody talks about that.
Nobody.
Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond. You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society for decades.
This isn't the first time Jay-Z's name has appeared alongside criminal allegations. Back in 1999, Jay-Z turned himself in to New York police after being accused of stabbing record executive Lance Rivera at a Manhattan nightclub. The incident became national news. Eventually, Jay-Z pleaded guilty to misdemeanor assault and received probation. It became one of the few moments in his career where the carefully controlled image crocked publicly.
Leaked and it was posted by Social Details. This is allegedly a call that he had, and there's a lot of talk, a lot of code words in there, so we're gonna listen to it together. Check it out.
Do not entertain none of this nonsense and nothing over the phone. I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. The what? All the boxes leftover.
Now, this alleged leaked call from Diddy in prison was talking about getting rid of pizza boxes. Now, if you know your stuff and you're privy, you know exactly what pizza stands for, and that's probably what they're talking about and referring to on this alleged leaked call. Pizza, for those who don't know, I'm gonna make it very clean. It has to do with children and selling.
Make sure you recycle the plastic like you talked about.
Now, in this alleged phone call, he starts talking about someone named Jay. People are speculating that may be Jay-Z, but there's no confirmation. At the same time, he talks about recycling plastic. I don't know what that could mean. If you guys have any idea, comment and let me know.
Everybody out there quiet as Yeah, exactly. We gonna let them have their little fun, but I'm still gonna have the last laugh.
I mean, it seems by the call that he's looking for help. He's saying that a lot of people are quiet, I guess people that are on his side, and that he's gonna have the last laugh at the end.
Man, just do what I told you to do, and don't forget about the list.
And then he goes on to say, don't forget about the list. And we don't know what that list is or what that implies, but this is pretty crazy. Do I think this is legitimate? There is no confirmation yet if this is legitimate or not.
Since then, Jay-Z transformed himself from rapper to billionaire businessman. Marriage to Beyoncé elevated the brand even further. Luxury partnerships, NFL deals, tech investments, political influence. But critics online now argue that immense power may have protected certain celebrities from scrutiny for years. Again, these remain allegations and internet theories, not criminal findings. Still, as Diddy's case expands, old controversies are suddenly being re-examined under a much darker light.
This contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those fucking trophies, trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, if you look at his career,
You're gonna let him say that? Jay was getting Grammys.
He had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
And he ain't show up.
No, he has like 20 now.
Hold on.
He had like 18 since he been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
You're not wrong.
At the same time, after that, he got them shits. He started drinking. His pictures with him like, fuck the cup.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades. Because he's no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest.
Then came the lawsuits. One of the biggest moments arrived when Jay-Z was named in a civil lawsuit connected with allegations involving Diddy. Jay-Z strongly denied the accusations. His representatives called the claims false, outrageous, and legally unsupported. And it's important to emphasize, no criminal charges have been filed against Jay-Z in connection with Diddy's federal case. But the public damage had already begun, because suddenly, the internet started connecting dots. Past parties, old photographs, industry relationships, celebrity guest lists. And as more lawsuits emerged against Diddy, speculation surrounding everyone in his orbit intensified.
Is getting a little smaller. As the rap mogul's defense team prepares for his May trial on sex trafficking charges, his attorney Anthony Rico respectfully but regrettably requested to be dismissed from his role, according to documents obtained by NBC News. Rico, who is one of 6 attorneys on the case, requested in the February 21st filing to withdraw as representation because, quote, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs, consistent with the ABA standards for criminal justice. The motion continues, quote, while I'm aware that the local rule requires that an application for withdrawal of counsel is supported and granted only upon a showing by affidavit or otherwise of satisfactory reasons for withdrawal, there are sufficient reasons related to the protections afforded by the attorney-client privilege for brevity in my application for withdrawal as counsel in this case.
So the high-powered law firm of Grubman, Shire, Masalis, and Sachs has dropped Combs as a client. Now, this is the firm of Alan Grubman, who is a very prominent entertainment lawyer that represents some very big names. The Weeknd, Madonna, Chris Brown, Paul Simon, Usher, Bruce Springsteen. In fact, by the way, Alan Grubman was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He actually helped found that back in the 1980s. So, gives you an idea about how big of a powerhouse this firm is. Now let's go back to Sean Combs. So the rumor circulating is that this firm did this because singer and actress Lady Gaga had threatened to leave the firm unless they parted ways with Combs. This is according to reporting by News Nation. And it's a big deal because the rapper and producer had apparently...
For federal investigators, association alone proves nothing. But in the court of public opinion, association can destroy reputations overnight. Then, things became even stranger. Audio allegedly connected to Diddy prison phone calls began circulating online. The authenticity of some recordings remains unverified, but internet commentators immediately dissected every word. Some online personalities claimed the language sounded coded. Others dismissed the recordings entirely as internet fabrication. At this point, no verified evidence confirms these calls contain criminal admissions, but the timing fueled paranoia, because by now, everyone connected to Diddy seemed nervous. Lawyers were leaving, associates were distancing themselves, and celebrity allies suddenly stopped speaking publicly. What makes these interviews so viral isn't just the allegations, it's the timing. Because suddenly, The idea that powerful figures protected each other behind closed doors no longer sounds impossible to millions of viewers online. And that's why Jay-Z's continued silence is being analyzed frame by frame across social media.
Details from an unnamed producer that were never credible. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and prostitution charges. The defense is also arguing here his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, was a willing participant in drug-fueled sex performances called freak-offs, not coerced, as prosecutors allege. This latest challenge to his case comes 3 months before trial, and as Combs loses one of his attorneys, Anthony Rico says under no circumstances can he continue to represent Combs. He offered no details about that decision, Robin.
Okay. All right. Thanks to you, Aaron.
The trial of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, a judge has denied his request to delay the proceedings, and that means jury selection could start in just weeks. ABC's Phil Lipoff is tracking this case. Good morning, Phil.
Yeah, Gio, good morning. It looks like it's going to. Sean Combs' trial date is set to go on as expected Friday. A judge ruled Combs' criminal sex trafficking trial will begin next month as scheduled after he denied the defense's request for a 2-month adjournment. The trial is set to begin May 5th with jury selection. The judge said it was unclear why there isn't sufficient time to prepare, especially since 4 different law firms are now representing him. The judge agreed, however, to allow alleged victims to testify under pseudonyms, but one star witness, Diddy's ex, Cassie Ventura, is expected to testify under her own name. She filed, you'll remember, a quickly settled civil lawsuit against Combs. The judge agreed with a defense request to receive outtakes of interviews conducted for a documentary produced by Warner Brothers. Those interviews were conducted with potential trial witnesses. Combs appeared in Jailhouse Beige on Friday and was given a moment at the end of the hearing to communicate with his mother and one of his sons. He told them, "I love you and we're good." He has pleaded, we should mention, not guilty to all 5 federal counts and maintained.
The real fear in Hollywood isn't just Diddy's trial. It's what could happen if prosecutors expand the investigation further. Federal racketeering cases are designed to uncover networks, not just individuals. That's why people across entertainment are reportedly distancing themselves, because nobody knows who investigators interviewed, what evidence exists, or whether sealed testimony could implicate additional public figures. Again, there is currently no public evidence showing Jay-Z faces federal criminal charges in this case. But public pressure doesn't wait for court verdicts anymore. Social media already acts like a courtroom, and once narratives take hold online, they spread faster than facts. For years, Diddy and Jay-Z symbolized ultimate success. They escaped scandals that destroyed others. They survived feuds, industry wars, media scrutiny, and decades of rumors. But now the culture feels different. The same internet that helped build celebrity empires is tearing them apart in real time. And insiders believe the next phase of this case could become even more explosive once witness testimony begins, especially if prosecutors attempt to connect multiple celebrities, executives, or associates together under broader conspiracy arguments. As jury selection begins, the stakes could not be higher. Diddy has pleaded not guilty to all charges. His legal team argues prosecutors distorted evidence and exaggerated allegations. Meanwhile, prosecutors continue building what they describe as a long-running criminal enterprise case. If convicted, Diddy could spend the rest of his life behind bars. And, depending on what emerges in court, the fallout could reach far beyond one man. Because when federal cases reach this level, secrets rarely stay buried forever.